Alright, we are back with yet more Ace Attorney Chronicles. And we have just gotten permission from Miss Lestrade to represent her in court. So we are going to present those documents to Inspector Gregson and actually get to investigate the crime scene. Here we are again at the scene of the crime. Now to thrust these representation papers in Gregson's face and see what he makes of them. Hello again, Inspector. Do you have a minute, please? What's it now? You should go home and get some rest. Here you are, Gregsy. Here are the representation papers. Your ladyship! Oh! I don't believe it! How the devil did you get that stubborn little ragabash to sign that? I salute you. That is good work, that is. I can see you've been very busy here as well. How about some tea? It's a special blend designed to relieve fatigue. Ah, lovely. Well, let's see now. Yes. I don't feel tired at all. I'm fit as a fiddle, your ladyship. Would it be alright if we investigated the scene of the crime, then? Do as you please! You know where it happened. Through that door behind the counter. Yes, the storeroom. That's where I discovered Mr. Windibank and Gina. Right, well, I'll be getting back to business then. Will you be investigating in the storeroom as well, Inspector? If I'm perfectly honest, we need to wrap this up before long. Can't afford to spend too much time on it. But there are so many articles to go through, it's taking forever, even with the lads working round the clock. Which is a problem, because there's another case the yard needs to investigate urgently. Ah, this must be that mysterious case they keep talking about. That must be what Lord Strongheart meant by far more serious matters before. So what I'm saying is, don't get under my feet, sunshine. Come then, let us not waste any time. Here we go. Time to look at stuff. Alright, I want to look at the bloody calendar that the detective is very, very markedly looking at. Ah, look here. Oh yes, a bullet hole. And I can see the bullet is still lodged in the wall. Presumably, Mr. Windibank wasn't practicing with his revolver in his spare time. He only had one bullet loaded in it, right? Remember, that was a, I'm telling everybody, remember. Last time, that was one of the key things, was that he kept saying he only had one bullet loaded in the gun. So, if that was still true, it was shot in here, but he was found dead in the other room. That, I think, is a very key point of information. Ah, well. Mr. Sholmes likes to practice in his drawing room wherever he can. He's very patriotic like that. Sorry? It's all there in the Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, you know? Isn't that right, Iris? Did I write something like that? Partly in jest, perhaps. In jest? Well, he doesn't do it often. It is quite a dangerous pastime. He doesn't do it often? He shouldn't even do it once! Yes, please don't discharge guns in your apartment just randomly. Forget that for now, Runo. Let's examine this bullet. Okay. What's that around the bullet hole? Is it blood? Suspicious red stain on the calendar. Ah, I may be able to help with that. What? There's nothing like the sight of blood to get the blood pumping, is there, Runo? I have a feeling I'm not as bloody-minded as you, Iris. I'm afraid the sight of blood makes my blood run cold. There you have it, you see? When it comes to blood, we're all different types. Yes, what a scientific observation. So you need this! Oh no. What is that scary-looking thing? Hurley and I haven't actually come up with a name for it yet. But as soon as you see it in action, you'll understand what it does. Watch. It's a luminol gun? It is. Oh, the color of the bloodstain has changed. There, does it make sense now? Oh, a blood type gun. That's actually not a bad thought. Yeah. Yes, I think I'm starting to understand. Good. It works on the principle that different people have different types of blood, you see. Ah, Mr. Phyllis has correctly guessed. Yes, how wonderful. The chemical it fires combines with the blood and makes it change color. So you can identify whose blood it is that you're looking at. In a flash! Oh, what a fabulous invention, Iris. Isn't it? Isn't it? I bet Ginny would say it's bleeding great. So whose blood are we looking at then? Well, all the chemical does is turn the blood a different color, so just find someone whose blood turns the same color and you'll know who it belongs to. In a flash! Oh, that's helpful. It's more like 2 flashes, really, isn't it? 1 flash or 2, this could well turn out to be a very valuable clue. We must make note of it in the court record. The blood sample has been entered into the court record. Great. Let's keep testing and adding the results of any other blood analysis to the portfolio. As long as I have reagent left, sure. Let's hope you have reagent left. Okay, why can we still look at this? Green blood. It just seems wrong somehow. Oh, there are all sorts of different colors. There are pretty pinks and purples too, you know? Like I said, everyone's blood is different. I wonder what color my blood would turn out. Actually, I don't want to know. There's the thing Sholmes was looking at earlier. This is that strange contraption that lets you see pictures of things as if they're right in front of your eyes. Makes you think. When Mr. Sholmes gleefully showed it to us yesterday, we were blissfully unaware that any of this was about to happen. This is true. These shelves are where the pawnbroker puts articles that have been forfeited on display for customers to buy. Yes, it's a really strange miscellany, isn't it? I mean, who would buy this horse statue, for example? Well, sometimes you can find some real treasures among all the junk, you know? Are you alright, Runo? Oh, it's just, well, it looks like a collection of useless junk as a whole, but when you pick out individual things, you can't help wishing you owned them. Even that horse statue. That's exactly how the pawnbroker works. They're very clever. What's that police officer doing? The police are scouring every inch of this place by the look of it. Instructions from the owner to examine every article in the shop and every ledger and book of accounts. Every article? But that's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous amount of work, surely. We've been hard at it ever since the shop was declared a crime scene in the early hours. We're sifting through it all in shifts at least, but still. We'll be working through the night, that's for sure. And even then, we'll barely have scratched the surface. A crime and a pawnbrokers. It must be every policeman's worst nightmare. It's every copper's worst nightmare, you know? Crime and a pawnbrokers. Well, there we go. Alright. Just take a minute to appreciate how great the soundtrack of this game is. Like, this is just like a slam dunk soundtrack. I'm loving this. I'm fairly sure this contraption was here yesterday as well. Yep, it's the portable version of that. Here we go, here we are, though I'm not confident I can get it closed again. Oh yes, that's a folding stereoscope. Really? This is a stereoscope? Mr. Sholmes showed us a picture yesterday that you were supposed to be able to see in 3 dimensions, but for that he used the great big contraption over there. Well, that's for use in public houses and places like that. It contains a carousel with all sorts of pictures inside. But this little thing is a much simpler design for use at home. There are special shops selling prints you can use in them. I have a little collection myself. I wonder if I could make money out of these in Japan. It'd be keeping my toilet sparkling clean anyway. And thus, Yonosuke became a stereoscope merchant. Alright. There's the shovels that Sholmes thought Mr. Eggert Benedict was carrying around. I've investigated thoroughly, but can't find anything out of place. Oh yeah, this thing. That's a music box. Do you have them where you come from, Runo? Yes, but I've never seen one as large as this in Japan. Oh, well, this will be a treat. Shall we have a listen? How nice. What do you think? Isn't it a pretty sound? It's a beautiful sound, yes, but it's a little hard to enjoy when all the policemen in the room are giving you fierce looks. Never mind that. If any of them say anything, I'll tell Gregsy to have a word. Iris Wilson, Superintendent of Scotland Yard. Yup. Alright. There's the article ledger here, Mr. Windibank's notes, and... What's this? It looks as though someone has left a little photographic print behind. Oh, look at the back. There's some writing. Is there? Oh, show us, Susie. Show us. 15th February, 10:30 p.m. Article deposited, 1 gentleman's overcoat. Loan amount paid, £1. Redemption deadline, 15th April, 10:30 p.m. A gentleman's overcoat pawned for £1? Clearly it was a very fine coat. In fact, I think... Yes, this must be the ticket for the overcoat that Jenny redeemed yesterday. And is still wearing, which belonged to McGilden. I would never have expected the redemption ticket to be handwritten on the back of the photograph, though. It seems Mr. Windibank just used whatever piece of paper he happened to have at hand. But this photograph of a cat looks very familiar, doesn't it? I'm sure I've seen this exact same picture somewhere else recently. Oh, yes, you're right. Very recently. It's the same as the one Ginny gave us earlier. Of course. I was forgetting that she gave us that print. Well, what are you waiting for then, Mr. Naruhodo? Get it out! Alright, alright. Let the cogs turn. Yes, they're exactly the same. Well... Are they, though? The cat looks like it's in a little different position. But... I don't know if that's just an optical illusion on my part or not. Well, if the one on the counter was used as a redemption ticket, perhaps the other photograph that Gina gave us has something written on the back, too. Heh, I've got it. These two photographs hide an amazing secret. A secret? What does she mean? You must tell us, Iris, at once. Heh. Do you really want to know? Yes! We need you to tell us all you know about this pair of photographs. Well, first... Hang on. Let's look at the photograph Gina gave us, right? Can I turn it? Oh, here we go. Yeah. Aha! Look on the back of this print here. There's something written on it. 13th February, 9 p.m. Article deposited, 1 small box. Loan amount paid, 10 shillings. Redemption deadline, 13th April, 9 p.m. So this photographic print is a redemption ticket? For an article that was deposited 2 days prior to the incident on the omnibus, it would seem. Yes, a small box. It doesn't tell us much about it, does it? Perhaps it contains some valuable mementos. I can't help but wondering. Presumably, Mr. McGilden never redeemed the article in question, since he still had the ticket. So isn't it possible that the box is still present somewhere at the shop? Ah, yes! It's something McGilden deposited. We need to investigate. Hey, we got a, It has now become a pawnbroker's ticket. A redemption ticket, issued from the victim. From the pawnbrokery owned by the victim, Mr. Windibank, in the form of some handwritten notes on the back of the photograph. Yeah, the snowman has more base to the tail space than one of the photos. Yes, I think you're right. Gina's representation papers, we got that. Yeah, blood samples. Alright, cool. Anyway. Let's talk about these photographs, Iris. So, Iris, about these 2 photographic prints. The one we found here on Mr. Windibank's counter, and the one Gina gave us before. What is this amazing secret you mentioned that's hidden between these 2 identical prints? Actually, that's not quite right. Sorry? If you look carefully, the 2 prints aren't the same. Not exactly. They're not? Have another look at them now. Can you see that they're just slightly different from each other? I think so. It's very subtle, though. Yes. But what's the reason for the subtle difference between the two prints? Oh, well, it's because they're a set, you see. No, I don't. The pair of photographs is meant to be used in a stereoscope. Everyone in London is raving about them at the moment. Ah, stereoscope. Why do I feel as though I've heard that word before recently? Because we were just looking at it. Oh yes, that's what Mr. Shom showed us yesterday. You see, there it is, just over there. Ah, yes, of course. That magical machine that makes pictures look almost real enough to touch. Well, actually, it's quite possible to see the same depth in pictures even without one of those contraptions. What? Really? Do you know how a pair of flat photographic prints can appear to have any depth in the first place? No, I have no idea. Oh, wonderful. Then I'll be able to tell you. She's over the moon, bless her. Should we let her explain, though? We really need to carry on investigating the scene. I, for one, simply have to know. Alright. Here we go. Have you ever considered, Bruno, how our eyes see depth in the world around us? Well, I just opened them, and it works. But the reason it works is because we have two eyes. Two eyes. Shocking. If you try closing just one eye at a time, I think you'll see straight away. What you see with your left eye, and what you see with your right eye, are ever so slightly different. You get a different view with each eye. Yes, the position of objects seem to shift slightly. Exactly. And in your head, your brain uses that shift to estimate depth as it merges the two views into one. That's how we can sense depth in everything we see. My brain really is amazing, isn't it? It does so much without telling me. Ah, I think I see. So the pair of photographs consists of a left eye view and a right eye view. Is that right? Oh, well done, Susie. You're so quick. So if you can persuade your brain to merge the two pictures together in your head, you'll be able to see the depth in these prints. Yes, Bruno, you're beginning to understand. And a stereoscope's function is to act as your brain and allow you to do just that. Yes, but as long as you have two images, two eyes, and one brain, you can actually do it yourself, without needing a stereoscope at all. You can? Really? Thinking about your brain. Something very meta going on there. Yes. Let's try it. Let's see if you can view this pair of prints without the help of a stereoscope. Oh yes! I'm dying to have a go! Susato-san really loves this kind of thing. You need to be able to cross your eyes. That's the main thing. Can you both do that? Cross my eyes? I think I can. Watch me, and see if you can copy. Make your eyes do this. Alright, let me try. Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh my. Oh my. This is somewhat horrifying. There, how's that? Wonderful! Now it's your turn, Renault. The trick is to concentrate on looking at the bridge of your nose with both eyes at the same time. Not exactly an easy task when two people were staring at you cross-eyed. Yes! Screenshot time. Yes. Alright, that's enough practice. Now let's try looking at the prints. Start by staring at one print and slowly crossing your eyes. You should see two overlapping images like this. Yep. You try it now, Bruno. I'm just gonna have to give it a try, I suppose. Did the print split into two images for you? Now the next step is to put the pair of prints side by side like this, and then try crossing your eyes again. The print should slowly merge together until they form a new single image in the center. Oh yes! Mr. Naruhodo, it works! I can see it in the middle now. It looks so real! Oh, I could look at it all day! I wouldn't advise that. Your eyes might start to hurt. Your turn, Runo. Pretend you're looking through the two pictures, and slowly cross your eyes. Keep adjusting the position of your eyes until the two images overlap exactly in the middle. Like, this is it? There, you managed it. So now you know how stereoscopic images work. Well, I don't know who discovered it, but it really is quite extraordinary. So what do you think of these stereoscopic prints then, Runo? They're certainly amazing, but it isn't easy to get the knack of viewing them properly. No, some people find it easier than others. But that's why contraptions like this exist. People who find it tricky. I'm getting flashbacks to the Magic Eye photos from the 90s. Oh, I recognize that. Yeah, we just looked at it. Yeah, we saw one over there. Yes, we did. We just looked at that. If I remember correctly, you press this little knob here. Then set the pair of photographs in the stand at the back, then... Yep. It's still amazing, even though I know roughly how it works now. Oh no, yes. Okay, so, you know, Chekhov's gun being a thing, the whole Magic Eye thing is going to be a major factor in this case somehow. So let's keep this in our back pockets, shall we? Well, London appears to agree with you. Stereoscopes are very popular at the moment. You can find one of these folding contraptions in lots of households in the capital currently. But if these little machines are so affordable, surely there's no need to go around staring cross-eyed at pictures like you hate them. But it's so much more satisfying to be able to see the effect with your own eyes. Well, I think so in any case. Stereoscopic pictures. I'd never even heard of them until yesterday. We've certainly learned a lot about them, but I wonder if it's knowledge that I'll ever actually need. Oh, it will be. Look, it even got added to the, yeah, the second white cat photograph has been entered in the court record. So we got, yeah, something's gonna come up with that. Now, do we need to look at the back of it to unlock the, this? This is the ticket that Gina brought in here yesterday. Yes, having been entrusted to her by Mr. McGilded 2 months earlier. Article deposited one gentleman's overcoat, and the other redemption ticket was in the pocket of that coat. Yes, for a small box deposited 2 days before the omnibus incident. Could that have anything to do with all this? Okay, it didn't update it, but yeah. Of course it has something to do with it. But why was it on the back of a pair of stereoscope images? That is the question, right? Yes, heavy foreshadowing, I would say. Well, thanks, Iris. You're very helpful, as always. So let's go into the back room. Or can we look at the shovels? For shovelry. That ledger that's open on the counter there really is enormous, isn't it? It must be an awful lot of work to keep track of all these hundreds of items in pawn. It's too much to think about. Better to sell it all and have a clear head, if you ask me. Clearly, Mr. Windibank was very careful when it came to the articles in his care. Okay. Let's check out over here. Behind that door is the storeroom, isn't it? That's what Gregsy said. Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, and that's where I saw that dreadful scene last night. The little window in the door. A finger smudge on the back. Yeah! Well, that's interesting. Yes, you're right. There is one. Mr. Windibank, face down on the floor with Gina beside him. As the accused legal representative, you have the right to examine the scene, Mr. Naruto. We must make a thorough investigation. Yes, of course. We will. Behind that door. That's the real scene of the crime. Or is it? Don't worry. If there are clues in there, I'll find them. Oh, we have to move into there. Okay. Yeah, I'm saying, I'm calling right now, though, that this here, that's sus. I'm gonna say that's sus right now. Alright, we're gonna move into the Windibank storeroom. Poor Mr. Windibank. 16th April, Windibank's storeroom. Poor Iris. She's clammed up completely. Iris is bound to find this difficult. After all, Mr. Windibank's life was taken in this very room only last night. Oh. Hi, Gregson. Oh! Wait, Inspector! What is it now, Sunshine? Took one look at me and tried to run away. You think a Scotland Yard inspector would run away from some jumped-up little defense lawyer, do you? Well... I've never seen a ladyship looking like that before, is the thing. I didn't know what to say to her. So you weren't running away from me, you were running away from a 10-year-old. I'm afraid this is all a little much for young Iris. Some gentle reassurance might go a long way, perhaps, Inspector. Eh? Don't trouble yourself unduly, your ladyship. I mean, at least you're not dead, are you? I don't think that went very well. Why? Look, I'm in the middle of an investigation here, Sunshine. I told you not to get under my feet. We have investigating to do ourselves. Yes. I'd like to hear more of what the socially inept inspector has to say. Oh, Hurley. And inquire into how Mr. Sholmes' operation is going. Well, let's look at the room first. Get some details. This is a revolver. A real one. And quite possibly the murder weapon used to take Mr. Windibank's life. What's the matter, Susie? You and Runa look like you're about to faint. Well, it's just that I've rarely seen a gun in the flesh. And I've had issues with guns in the past. But anyway, we saw Mr. Windibank with this yesterday, didn't we? Yes. I shall have to take my own life. Right. It must be the same gun. And last night, when I looked through the spy hole in the door to the storeroom here, that was the same gun I saw in Gina's hand. Yep. Mr. Windibank told us that he only ever had a single bullet loaded in his revolver, didn't he? Yes. Well, it's empty now. The one and only bullet he had in the gun has been fired. So we can be fairly certain that only a single shot was fired from this revolver. Yep. Out of all the articles in this storeroom, this is the only thing that shows any sign of being ransacked. Ah! What is it, Iris? That's the box file that my manuscript was being kept in. Oh, it's the Hound of the Baskervilles book. Oh. Iris's unpublished story, The Hound of the Baskervilles. Surely that's not what all this... Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you. We must check inside the box at once. Yes. Ah! It was there. Iris's story was there. Really? It was? Well, that's good news, isn't it, Iris? Yes. I mean, of course I believe Hurley when he said he deposited it here, but still. It's a relief to actually see it. Really? Because that's not a very well-hidden frown. Was there something else with it that has been taken? Iris's manuscript has been entered in the court record. A long, unpublished story that Mr. Sholmes deposited at the pawnbrokery of the victim. Mr. Windibank. It's entitled The Hound of the Baskervilles. Right. So there was something else in there that was taken. Yes? What could it have been? Because remember, Sholmes said last time that he didn't think the public was ready for this story, and it makes me wonder why. You know, like, what... Is it the story, or was there something else he put in there that the public wasn't ready for, quote-unquote? Look at all these articles that have been deposited. The room is stuffed full of them. I can't believe how many there are. A bicycle, a gramophone, musical instruments, even some enormous paintings. Look. Pieces of different people's lives, quietly gathering dust in here together. There's something very peaceful about the atmosphere here. Or at least there would be, if not for the chalk outline on the floor and the policemen shuffling around. Not much I can do about that, sunshine. Alright, so I think it's time to look at the body, yes? Or the outline? Let's check it out. Let's see. The police have marked the position of the body with a chalk line. Poor Mr. Windibank. He was a nice old man. Well, he was shot just once in the heart. Most likely, the fella died instantly. He wouldn't have felt a thing. This must be his blood, then. Ah! I don't like to ask such a wretched time, Iris, but I wonder if perhaps... Don't worry, Susie. I'm ready for action. Oh. So now we know the color of the chemical turns when it reacts with Mr. Windibank's blood. And it doesn't match our analysis of the bloodstain we found in the main shop. No, but let's add this sample to the others we've already collected anyway. The blood samples portfolio has been updated in the court record. Yep. Alright, let's check that out real quick here. Wrong thing. So, what we've got for blood samples? Not Hound of the Baskervilles, though. Is there anything to really look at? Hound of the Baskervilles. How did Susato-san know the exact title of this unpublished story? I suppose I'll just have to wait until she's ready to explain it to me. I'm so sorry. Yeah, how did you know that? That's an odd question. Alright, so we have the unknown. So we have green blood. And we have blue blood. And we know it's name Pop Windibank. Wait, his name was Pop? It was? Oh, his name was Pop. Okay. That's something else. Alright, so now we know that for sure. Iris? Don't worry, I'm alright. But we must find the true culprit. Yes, absolutely. Alright, so some things are coming together in my mind here, because one bullet fired outside in the main area. Green blood. This, I'm thinking, is Mr. Windibank's gun. He fired it at the assailant and it hit them. Oh wait, no, hang on. Because Sholmes was shot too, right? So is that Sholmes' blood? Ah, man. We gotta find more stuff out, I think. Anyway, let's talk to Gregson here. So, Inspector, what do you make of the crime scene here? Sure. You got eyes, haven't you? Use them. It is what it looks like, nothing more, nothing less. Iris, could you lend me a hand? So, Grixie, what do you make of the crime scene here? Oh, yes, your ladyship, do allow me to humbly explain. Last night, shortly after the hour 1 o'clock in the morning, Scotland Yard police attended the scene. I like, by the way, you know, there was a running gag in the Phoenix Wright core series where Miles Edgeworth, the main prosecutor, is constantly threatening to cut Detective Gumshoe, who's the detective's salary. and this is... They've kind of set up a quasi thing here where Iris has control over Gregson's salary, and I love it. It's amazing. The one and only door to this storeroom was found locked from the inside. So it was locked from the inside. The lock appears to be broken now, though. Was that the police officers doing? Quite right, ma'am, quite right. We took the liberty of smashing the door in as humbly as possible. Oh, as you can see, the victim was discovered prostrate on the floor, thuswise. And next to the aforementioned body, we discovered the vile gutter child. Are you talking about Jenny? She's my friend, you know, Inspector. Mr. Straw, the hapless girl, was curled up on the floor, dead to the world. She's still alive, you know. Yes, when I saw her, she appeared to be unconscious. I'm afraid to say, she had the gun that was used in her hand. No! Presumably, it's the gun that's still down there on the floor now. In her pocket, we found the key to the door as well. What? The key to the storeroom? And you say the storeroom had been locked from the inside, Inspector? Correct. All of which leaves the ladyship's friend in something of a sticky situation, I'm afraid. Obviously, my personal opinion is it all some sort of misunderstanding. Of course it is, Inspector. Of course it is. Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure you assumed that. Rexy, do you know anything about Hurley? Is the operation finished? Is Hurley alright? Is he? Well, the thing is, Don't mince your words, Inspector. Please. You don't mean to say that Mr. Sholmes is... No. The operation is done and dusted. It's just that, well, out with it! Yes, ma'am. They use something called a general anesthetic. That's the latest thing. Renders the whole body insensitive. The whole body? Anesthetized? Is that even possible? That means the operation can be completed while the patient is fast asleep. Goodness, in the Empire of Japan, we can just manage to provide laughing gas for a tooth extraction. The trouble is, the latest thing isn't always the greatest thing, if you follow my meaning. I couldn't get the medication to work at first, so it took hours for him to nod off, so I hear. And now that the op's finished, they can't get him to wake up, apparently. Oh my! No one knows if it's the anesthetic still in his system or if the bloke's just plain exhausted. But anyway, all I can do is stand back and watch until he comes around again. Hurley. The moment he desires, your ladyship, I swear I shall get your word to you. What a surprise. Even in matters of life and death, Mr. Sholmes has to do things his way. He's deducing in his sleep right now, having another brilliant deduction. Here, look at my armband. Inspector Gregson, could you give me your opinion about this, do you think? We don't tend to share, sunshine, not with the general public. Ugh. In that case, Gregsy, how about some herbal tea? Oh, lovely. Tar very much. That really hit the spot, your ladyship. You don't mind sharing that, then? Alright. So I think we've got everything we can get out of this scene. Yeah. So what do we do next? If you let your concentration slip, you might miss what people say. That's an interesting statement. Space feels different to normal today. Should go out to the main Baker Street? It all started with milk for the poppy and Essos, yes. Alright, there's nothing out here of any note, I don't think, right? We got that. There's still a Scotland Yard carriage outside Windibanks. I never imagined we'd be investigating a case so close to home. Poor Iris. She's very upset by all this. I'm sorry, I was there. I should have done more. None of this is your fault, Bruno, so please, don't apologize. But it's the criminals who are to blame for all this. So let's investigate and work out how to catch them. Yes, you're right. That's nice, Iris. So what do we do now? Is there anything over here worth looking at? Not really, because that's just Baker Street. We have the... I mean, the only thing I can think of is there anything more to do at the storeroom? Because we already talked to Gregson about everything. Is there any evidence we haven't looked at fully? Okay, so that's her representation papers, Gina's. We got the blood samples. We got the pawnbroker. Yeah. I mean, the only thing... I am thinking maybe, like, going to the hospital to see if we can talk to Sholmes. Or, well, not talk to him, but, like, I would love to get a blood sample. But he's not here right now, so... St. Sinner's Hospital is no use to us. I've never seen the investigation phase of the game before, just the courtroom shenanigans. Yeah, this game actually has much better investigation phases than the core games, in my opinion. They're a lot more interactive, and they're not quite as much like pixel hunts as the main games tend to. But this is really good so far. The prison, I mean, we're just... Oh, something new's going on here. Whenever it updates the location and tells you that, there's something new. 16th of April, local prison, cell 13. Gina doesn't appear to be here. I believe she must be in questioning at the moment. Oh, but wait a minute. What is it, Iris? Well, if you examine the scene here carefully, there's another possibility, isn't there? Jenny could have slipped the key from the jailer when he wasn't looking and escaped. Oh my. Why would she do something like that? It would only make her situation worse. It would, but she would do something like that. Calm down, Bruno. I was only joking, of course. No, she would do something like that. Oh. Ugh, you had me worried there. I thought it was a great deduction. Yes, it must be your way with words, Iris. You're so wonderfully persuasive. Perhaps you don't fully understand the weight your words carry. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I suppose a light-hearted Greek detective is a contradiction in terms. Well, in the same situation, I'm sure Mr. Sholmes would have just thrown his head back and guffawed. I'm not entirely sure that's helpful, Mr. Naruhodo. Well, anyway, it looks like we won't be able to talk to Gina for a while. We should try to make progress with our investigation in the meantime. Yes, come along then, Bruno. Come along, Susie. Alright, so there's nothing here. That's good to know. Is there anything we can get, like a blood sample in Sholmes' suite? No. What about Naruhodo's room? Oh, no. No. So I guess we have to go back to Windibanks and see if there's something we missed. Hey Iris, can you tell us about this manuscript a bit more? Oh, my manuscript. Mr. Sholmes said he deposited it in Windibanks, and he had. But it's so strange. What is it about this particular story? I worked so hard on it. Why would Hurley say I can't publish it? I'm afraid I have no idea. All you can do is wait until he's ready to tell you, I suppose. Oh, maybe. It's because Hurley isn't in it enough. Maybe I didn't give him enough good lines. Yes, maybe. I wish I could say that definitely isn't the reason, but I can't. No, Hurley would be a little insulted if he didn't have a bunch of lines. And, you know, didn't do all the cool stuff. The white photograph? No, never mind. There's nothing in that. That's just generic, you've showed me something, I'm not interested text. The blood samples, maybe? The way you can identify differences in people's blood like this is amazing. You really are a genius, Iris. I know! I am! If Hurley and I put our minds to it, we could really shake up Britain's chemists and alchemists. And you could shake up Japan's lawyers and judges, couldn't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, for sure, even if I didn't intend to. So we have the pawnbroker's ticket, we have the representation papers, alright. Is there anything I didn't look at in the main area so far? I don't think so. No, I think we're good here. So let's go to the storeroom again. No, nothing here. Okay, so we're good there. Is there anything I need to present to Gregson? We can look at the representation papers. No, he doesn't have an opinion about that. That's too bad. Blood samples? Nope, you don't have anything to say about the blood samples. What else? Maybe the pawnbroker's ticket? No? Oh! Inspector, what do you make of this? Oh, what have we here, then? A redemption ticket for an article deposited here, is it? Looks like someone ran out of office stationery and wrote the ticket on whatever paper was at hand. Yes, this is the ticket from the Gilded's overcoat. The one that little diver turned up with yesterday. Well, actually, no, it's not. Really? You know better than me, do you? No, I didn't mean to, Everyone's right, Greg. See, it isn't the same ticket. Of course it isn't, I never doubted you, your ladyship. So, what's all this about then, if I might be so bold to ask? This is a second ticket. A second one? It seems that Mr. McGilded, in fact, had another article in storage here at Windibanks. Oh, that's right, we have to look for that. Is that right? I think we need to discuss this further with the inspector, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, good, because he's ever so easy to talk to. Ah! There we go, we got a new conversation. This ticket was in one of the pockets of Mr. McGilded's overcoat. Hey? You mean to tell me? Yes, there was more than just the music box disc, it seems. I should have insisted on the lads taking it back to the yard and examining it properly. Well, according to the details on this ticket, Mr. McGilded deposited another article here with Mr. Windibank. Yes, I can see it written here. A small box, was it? Do you have any idea where it is, Gregsy? Any idea at all? It's another article belonging to Mr. McGilded. It could be an important clue. Well, yes. I suppose it could be. Please, stop looking at me with those big turquoise eyes, all full of hope and expectation. There's too much pressure. I'll lose me marbles, I will. I'll go barking. This is no time for dog impressions, Inspector. That's enough sauce from you, Sunshine. There is one thing that springs to mind. According to this ticket, the redemption deadline's already passed, hasn't it? Oh, yes, of course. Article was only held for 2 months. So the small box will no longer be in here, then. That's right. It's been forfeited. Which means it could be on the shelves in the front of the shop, where the forfeited items are offered for sale. Yes, the shelves in the front. We must search them at once. You're wasting your time. Oh? There are dozens of little boxes out there. Hundreds, even. Can't even possibly know which one might have been McGilded's. The information's not written in the ledger. Ugh. Well, I think we should at least have a look, just in case. Of course, your ladyship, of course. Very sensible of you, I'm sure. This is getting old. Alright, Gregson. Let's go see. Let's examine the shelves. Yes, this is where all the items that have been forfeited by their original owners are offered for sale. That's right. They've all got little price labels on them, but there are so many. I wonder if the small box this ticket was for is still on the shelves somewhere. The box that McGilda deposited here just over 2 months ago. Even if it were, finding it promises to be very troublesome indeed. There are so many boxes. It could be any of them. Mr. Sholmes said that a pawnbroker's was the safest place to store anything, more secure than a bank's vault. So perhaps the small box of Mr. McGilda's contains something of very great value. Well, if that's the case, he'd probably have kept it locked. So then we need to find every box with a lock and break them all open. Yeah! Oh no. That sort of misconduct would get you arrested. I won't let that happen. This takes me back. It's been some time since Susato last threw me. Yep. Okay. So, we don't really know, right? Except, let's look at the ticket again. Because, yeah, you mentioned the... Let's see. It's got the 3... Mr. Winterbank appears to have used the back of this photograph to write out a redemption ticket. He's written it very neatly, but still, perhaps he ran out of paper, so he had to use anything he had to hand. It's hard to know what's the front, what's the reverse side now. Okay. Is that all? Yeah. 1 small box, 10 shillings. Okay. And then on the other side we have the cat picture. This is an adorable little cat. I think it looks a little like Wagahai. I always thought the cats like to curl up inside the heated tatsu blanket when it snowed. Maybe British cats are different. Actually, now we have both pictures. I could have another go at viewing them as a stereoscopic image. So I need to cross my eyes and try to get the 2 cats to merge in the middle as one. It's such a hard thing to do. Who thought of this in the first place was to spend a long time staring. Okay. Wait. Yeah, there's nothing new there. Is there anything in the storeroom, maybe? I see some boxes. Nope, that doesn't update. Because it would be on the front, right? Let's see. We could linger here a little longer. Poor Mr. Winterbank. I'm trying to think about, like, what we could possibly still do. Is there anything else we could show Iris? The photograph, maybe? No, that's not it. This one? No? Let's see. Oh yeah, let's look at this red smudge here too. Mr. Naruhodo, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's something rather troubling here. I have noticed. The red smear, you mean? Yes, looks like blood, doesn't it? I wondered if Susato-san had picked up on that. Well, in that case, yes, we need Iris. We should show this to her before we forget. Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, so let's have her look at that and we can see what the blood is. There we go. Oh, that looks like blood. I would say it's from a gloved finger. Almost certainly a glove made of leather. Well, don't worry, Bruno. You can leave the rest to me. Alright, what color? Is that pink? Or is that purple? Look at that. Yes, that's a color we haven't seen before, isn't it? Alright, purple. We simply must add it to portfolio of blood samples. It could be an important clue. Although, it would be nice to find out whose blood these different colors correspond to at some point. Well, this particular stain of blood... Oh, you've had an idea, haven't you? Do you know whose blood this is? Shoot. Wait, hang on. When was this? When was this submitted? When was this sent in? From the pawnbroker on this is what looks like a bloody... Wasn't that the night or shortly around the time of the murder? Different blood. Yeah, it's... Yeah, I'm thinking this is like a different situation. So let's see. I think I do know who this might be. Yes, I have an idea whose blood it is. Not from the color it turned, but with a little deduction. That's right. I think it's clear. Iris, you know as well? You first, Renault. Who do you think it belongs to? Alright, I believe that this is the blood of... Yeah, I was kind of leaning toward it being Thrice-Fired Mason. Because McGilded... I think McGilded did kill him. And he might have had his blood on the ticket as he brought it in. Yeah, it's asking us to remember 2 cases ago is a little difficult sometimes. Thrice-Fired Mason. Mason? You don't sound very sure of yourself the way you trailed off there. Well, it was 2 months ago now, that case. And of course, I'd never met the victim, so I'm struggling to remember his name. He was definitely thrice-fired, though. The victim of the omnibus case? Yes, his name was indeed Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason. But that would mean that this bloodstain was left on the ticket 2 months ago. Yes, I think it was. Gina brought this ticket here to Mr. Windibank's yesterday, suggesting that the bloodstain was already on it at that time. Such a smear of blood from the time that Mr. Mason was killed 2 months ago. Something else is coming back to me now. Mr. McGilded was also wearing leather gloves that night. Yep, he was. That's what I was thinking. Now I ask yous, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? Reached out to give the man a hand. That's right. It certainly does look like a leather glove thumbprint, Miss Mark. But we know that Mr. McGilded had no injuries at the time, anywhere on his body. From which we can conclude that any blood on the glove belonged to the victim, Mr. Mason. Mr. Naruhodo, you sound just like Mr. Sholmes. Minus the quirky slip-ups, I hope. Yes, I think you're right, Renault. Very well. Let's make a note of this. The details of the pawnbroker's ticket for the coat have been updated in the court record. Yep, the blood in it has been identified. It's a little bit of a stretch to say the blood has been identified as Mr. Mason's, but, you know. We're taking a massive assumption that it is Mr. Mason's blood. But it appears to have moved the plot forward, so I assume we're correct. Oh, dong dong. Let's look out. Oh, 3 dongs. Ah, I nearly jumped out of my skin there. How could Mr. Windbag set such a wicked trap? I doubt he set it out to scare anyone. Is that really the time? I think perhaps we should pay Gina another visit soon. Oh? Her trial is tomorrow. We must establish whether or not you will be defending her. I think we should ask her one more time. She may have changed her mind. Yeah, she kind of gave us the papers temporarily, didn't she? Don't you remember, Bruno? You told her she could rip up the representation papers if she didn't want you to be her lawyer. Oh yeah, you did say that. Really? Did I say that? Yes, you did. The deadline for submitting the paperwork is fast approaching. In that case, we had better hurry back to the prison and talk to Gina again. Alright. Come on, Gina. Work with us here. Hello! Hi. We're playing some more anime Sherlock Holmes. 16th of April, 5:41 p.m., local prison, cell 13. Gina. Good. You're back. Ugh! The police must have finished questioning her then. Oh, how was it, Ginny? Was it awful? Eh? Oh. Didn't bother me. Thank you for the papers you signed before. It meant we were able to investigate at Windibanks. Oh, right. Don't you want to know how we got on? We've been ever so busy. What's the point in asking? Don't change what everyone's saying, that I did it. That's not... Gina, we came to ask for your final decision. Eh? What decision? About tomorrow's trial. Will you let me defend you or not? I must submit the paperwork now if you'd like Mr. Naruhodo to represent you. Right, I'll see. She's really lost her fight all of a sudden. But I know what that feels like. The worry is just so hard to bear. Alright, what we've uncovered. Well, let's talk about it. I mean, I have some thoughts, but I think I'm a bit ahead of where the plot is right now. Oh, alright then! Blimey, give it a rest with them eyes, Iris. So come on then, fill us in. Who done it? Unfortunately, we don't know that yet. You don't say. We don't know yet, Gina. But Mr. Naruhodo and all of us know that you are innocent of this crime. At least we hope so. And while we haven't yet managed to work out who the real culprit is, there are a number of interesting facts that we have managed to establish. Oh yeah? Like what? What are you doing with a coin in there? Well, for example, the reason for you being there in the first place. I think I know now why you broke into Windibanks that night. Well, yeah, that was, like, stupefyingly obvious. Alright, yeah, it looks like I'm gonna have to take some evidence that clearly reveals the reason and thrust it into Gina's face. Or I could present it to her calmly, I suppose. No, thrust it. Here. No, I am getting fed up with you, Gina. Here, take this. We found this in Mr. Windibank's storeroom. The manuscript of Iris's latest story. Ah! Oh, right. Well, that's good then. Curiously, the storeroom at Windibanks showed no sign of being ransacked for items of value or the like. With one exception, the box file that housed this manuscript. It was you, wasn't it, Gina, who broke open the box containing this manuscript last night? Eh? You were determined to find out whether or not the Hound of the Baskervilles was really there. That's the real reason you broke into the storeroom last night, isn't it? Why don't you tell us what happened, please? Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's do the representation first, though. Let's make sure. We already have the representation papers and other documents we need. All we have to do is hand them to the court clerk. That is, if you'll allow me to represent you in court tomorrow. Come on now. Nah, don't bother. Ginny, pick them up and chuck them, would you? Them representation papers or whatever they're called. This cell ain't fancy enough to have a bin. So what will you do in court tomorrow? I'll be fine on my own. I don't think you will be. Look, it don't matter. What's gonna happen is gonna happen. This is one stubborn pickpocket. Alright, fine, let's keep talking then. I will browbeat you into letting me represent you. Alright, yeah, this Baskerville story. It's the latest Sholmes adventure, right? But it ain't been printed yet. So I figured it's gotta be worth a fair few pieces of silver, right? Oh yes, at least 5,000 pounds. What? So you intended to sell Iris's manuscript? No, you didn't. I don't buy that for a second. No, Ginny, how could you? What? Wait, no, hang on. Of course I weren't going to sell it. What I wanted to do was find out if the manuscript, or whatever you call it, really was there or not. That's the only reason I was in the place. For Iris's sake. Isn't that right? We knew why you'd done it from the start, Gina. Of course we did. Yeah, yeah. But I knew you wouldn't do anything mean like that, Ginny. I just knew it. Well, when I saw the manuscript in the storeroom, it reminded me of what you'd said the night before. Grown-ups do a lot worse than that, believe me. Barefaced lawyers, a lot of them. You just ain't realised it yet. I'm telling you, that manuscript ain't at Winterbanks. You'd seen soon if you'd had a look. Yeah, right. If I'm honest, I have wondered if Hurley's telling me the truth sometimes. I mean that I sometimes wonder if he might have hidden my manuscript somewhere. Somewhere I don't know. Even though it's wrong of me to doubt him. Well, he didn't. So, there you go. Oh, Ginny, that was so sweet of you. Alright. I'll tell you why I did it. Hey, stop looking at me like that, Iris. The reason for breaking it. You wanted to prove to her because you're friends, right? It wasn't because of Iris. That's not why I did it. No. I just wanted to know the truth, that's all. Are you a defense attorney in training, Gina? You wanted to know if Mr. Sholmes was being honest? If he'd really deposited the manuscript at Winterbanks? It's like I told you the night before. I never had a father. But Iris ain't like mine. She's got her dad, only she can't see him. Well, yeah, let's not talk about her dad, shall we? I reckon that's got to be harder. That's why she writes the stories. They're about her dad, really. Oh, that's getting awkward. That's what it sounded like to me, anyway. Last night when I was listening to what you were saying. Stories about Daddy? You mean they're not the adventures of a great detective? So much as the adventures of a great detective and his trusty partner? Well, that's how I see it, yeah. You're so thoughtful and so kind, Ginny. Yep. Just salt of the earth she is. Yes, and we never thought any differently, did we? Look, give it a rest, will you? I hate all this chummy nonsense, do you hear? I hate it. I don't trust no one, right? That's how I work. Because if you don't trust no one can let you down. So leave me alone. Go on, Scarpa. I hadn't noticed until now, but it's unmistakable. Right there on both sleeves of that overcoat are some very suspicious red stains. Whoa, what are you looking at me like that? I think it might be worth presenting some of our other findings in that area to Gina now. Yep, we gotta test that blood. Present the blood samples. These stains on the sleeves of your new coat, Gina. They're blood, aren't they? Not that I know whose blood yet. Whoa! Blood, Mr. Naruhodo? You don't appear to have any obvious wounds yourself, though. So could it be the blood that spattered from Mr. Winterbank when he was shot last night? Let's not beat around the bush here. This trusty friend of mine will get results much faster than anything else. Eh? Take it easy, Iris. Don't move, Ginny. I'm gonna shoot. Is it gonna turn pink? Oh. My. Oh. Oh my. What the? Forget the sleeves. The whole coat is covered in blood. It's McGilded's coat. It's McGilded's coat. It's Thrice Fired Mason's blood, right? Because, McGilded, quote-unquote, helped him after he had been, quote-unquote, stabbed by someone who definitely wasn't McGilded. Of course, the black color of the fabric was masking the stains. That's why I haven't seen them up until now. And the blood has reacted with the chemical to turn a purple color, which matches one of the samples we've already collected perfectly. Yes, now let's see. Who had the purple blood? Aha! Yes, it was the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, the victim of the murder case 2 months ago. So McGilded's coat was covered in his blood. I knew it. What? What are you all on about? The victim? What do you mean? It's a rather uncomfortable situation, Mr. Naruhodo, but I think this makes things quite clear. It means the omnibus case is finally solved. The truth about who really murdered the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, is revealed. Yup. Oh wait, will someone explain what's going on? Stop telling off a story! The truth of the omnibus case, yeah. We can see now that the victim's blood is all over Mr. McGilded's overcoat. But in the trial 2 months ago, the defendant said this in his testimony. Now I ask you, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from the stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. Right. But if you look at the overcoat now, it's clear. These stains couldn't have arisen from McGilded trying to pull the victim to his feet. Yeah. No, if that was what really had happened, the blood wouldn't have splashed all over the front of the coat. The only explanation for this pattern of blood is that it splattered over McGilded's coat when he stabbed the victim in the stomach. Yep, McGilded did it. Tried to run from the truth for long enough. Yep, you got a guilty man declared innocent, but there's no escaping it now. The true culprit in that case, Mr. Mason's killer, was Magnus McGilded. Yep. Mr. Naruhodo, that horrible case is solved at last, and I helped the man walk free from that trial. I used all that twisted testimony, all that sham evidence to prove his innocence. How could I have let that happen? Yeah, the whole, like, bloodstain thing showing up. Oh, gosh. Bruno, did you believe him, though? Did you believe Mr. McGilded was innocent? I believed. Or rather, I think I was trying to believe. I wanted to, because believing in those you represent in court is a defense lawyer's greatest weapon. A weapon? The lawyer's weapon. Yes. Yep, too good a lawyer. Before we came to Great Britain, a great friend of mine taught me a valuable lesson. You mean Kazuma-sama? Listen, Ryunosuke. We lawyers are only human. We can't know for sure what the truth is and what is a lie. Which is why we must resort to our primary weapon. An unwavering belief in our clients. That's all we really have. Unwavering belief? Only when we truly believe what our clients tell us can we fight with everything we have for their cause. In any battle, there can be no victory without faith. So I believe you, unwaveringly. That's right. What's funny, Gina? Cool. Sounds like in this empire of Japan you come from, everyone must be soft. Well, come on! Look at the mess it's got you into, believing in that bog trotter. Yes, I inadvertently helped a murderer walk free. Well, at least you've learnt your lesson now, eh? Believing in people's never worth it. Someone always stabs you in the back in the end. As soon as you let down your guard, you've had it. Take a leaf out of my book. Believe no one, get hurt by no one. Gina, may I ask you something? What? I'd just like to make absolutely sure. What would you like us to do with these representation papers for tomorrow's trial? How many times do I have to say it? Rip them up and chuck them away. Are you really sure that's what you want? I bet that's what he wants to know now, Mr. I'm a Believer lawyer over there. Don't forget it was me in that trial 2 months ago. Led everyone up the garden path, didn't I? And you're telling me you can believe in me after that? Not likely. Well, Mr. Naruto, a lawyer's primary weapon is an unwavering belief in his clients. Ultimately, it comes down to whether or not I feel I can trust Gina after everything that's happened. We got Sta. We trust her. Gina, let me say it again. Please allow me to represent you in tomorrow's trial. Hey? Are you half-baked? Not at all. You've not once admitted to committing the crime, have you? What's more, I believe that you're telling me the truth. Seriously, Mr. Naruto? Didn't you hear all what I said before? I'm a born liar. Fibs just trip off my tongue. And I'm a diver, don't forget. I pulled the wool over your eyes 2 months ago and got you into all sorts of trouble. Why would you ever trust me now? I just don't get it. Gina, I do understand why you chose not to put your trust in others, but I assure you there is more to this life than you yet you realize. What do you mean? The world we live in is full of people you would do very well to trust. People who won't ever let you down. It's true that I'm just a student of law, and I'm certainly lacking in courtroom experience, but I can promise you this. Whatever happens, and until my very last breath, I am completely on your side. What do you expect me to say to that? Then it's decided. I will take these papers now and carry out the necessary preparations for tomorrow's trial. It would be a shame to throw them away now after it's been penned with your name so beautifully. Do what you like, you Eastern Law... Oh. I don't know what you are, I don't get you. Yay! Gina's taking herself off to the back of her cell. She'd never admit it, but I hope she's feeling relieved. It turned out alright in the end, I think. Whoever's hiding there, show yourself at once! Eavesdropping is the height of cowardice. Mr. Sato, somebody is there in the shadows. I can sense it. Somebody who wasn't there before. What? Blimey, you're sharp, eh? Who's that? Oh! I suppose you were using one of those mystic Japanese arts, like the stealth I've heard so much about. If anyone was being stealthy, it was you, Inspector. Gregsy? Oh dear me, I'm most terribly sorry, your ladyship. I didn't mean to startle you. How long have you been listening in on our conversation? Good grief! Listening in? No. I just got word that there were some visitors who were refusing to leave, even though it was after hours. I assure you, your ladyship, I only just arrived this very minute, not a moment earlier. That's all it is, nothing untoward, nothing at all. After hours? Is it that late already? So then, I'll humbly excuse myself now, your ladyship. Ta-ta, toodaloo, cheerio, all the best, bye-bye. That's a lot of farewells, and not one of them appropriate for her ladyship. Oh, but I wanted to have a chat. I'm terribly sorry, but time is pressing at the minute. Oh, I see. That's a shame. I don't get this emergency at the Supreme Court dealt with sharpest Lord Strongheart will... Well... Emergency? Lord Strongheart? Nothing! Forgot I said anything. Anyway, I'm off. Alright, Gregsy. If you have to, let's chat soon. Delighted, charmed, can't wait. If you please, my pleasure. That's a lot of pleasantries, and not one of them sounded sincere. Gregsy's so funny. He says such silly things. It's certainly entertaining to see an inspector of the police fawning to a 10-year-old girl. But anyway, I wonder what this emergency is at the Supreme Court. I must attend the court clerk's office now before it closes. Yes, of course. Thank you, Miss Sasato. Kindly escort Iris home now, Mr. Naruhodo. I shall meet you there later. And so our investigation came to an end. Sasato-san went to file the necessary papers for my defense of Gina the following day, and then it hit me. I could no longer suppress the wretched feeling that had been gnawing away at my insides. Tomorrow, Sasato-san would be leaving Britain and making her way back to Japan. Yeah, that's not great, is it? 16th of April, 11:13 p.m., Naruhodo's Legal Consultancy. Naruhodo-san, it's been a very trying day, hasn't it? I do hope you're not too exhausted. What about you, Sasato-san? Today has been even more trying for you, I'm sure. Mr. Shone was shot before our eyes, Gina was arrested, all in the back of the news that her father has fallen ill and that she must return to Japan at once. I hope your father recovers soon. I mean, in the 2 months it's going to take her to get back. He could be better by then. Thank you for your kind words. I wonder why it is that so many thoughts rage in my head like a storm, and yet I seem unable to find the words to express any of them. I know exactly what you mean. Anyway, I have one final task to complete as your judicial assistant. Once that is done, I shall make preparations for my departure tomorrow. One final task? What is it? It's just 2 months since we arrived in London, but we've managed to establish this office. I was finally feeling as though we were settling in. I would be lying if I said I felt no regret. I'm so sorry, Sasato-san. It's just so sudden. I really don't know what to think. I've had no time to gather my thoughts. I know we've only been here a short time, but in my limited experience of the courtroom, I feel I've learned something. And what would that be? It seems to me that there are many facets to people's personalities. Facets? And like a jewel, the light plays off them in complex patterns, illuminating their actions and their motives. But we see only a small number of the total facets, and what is illuminated is only a part of the whole story. What lies in the shadows? What do these facets we cannot see look like? Perhaps there are some parts we'll never lay eyes on for as long as we live. That's so true. Sometimes I feel as though I'm blind to so much. But I keep hoping that one day it will all become clear. That's all the facets will be illuminated, and I'll finally understand how everything fits together. Naruhodo-san, I suppose what matters is that we keep our eyes open and keep moving forward, even if the way sometimes seems dark. It's amazing to think it's been just 2 months. You've grown so much. Sorry? I've what? Oh, no, it was nothing. Unimportant. Do you know what time you'll be leaving London in the morning? Yes, I picked up my ticket earlier. I shall be leaving here at 4 a.m. I see. Well, I'll escort you to the station. Absolutely not. Sorry? I'm sure you realize why I couldn't possibly let you do that. You have a very important day ahead of you tomorrow. Gina's trial. Yes, I know, but every word you utter will have the potential to determine Gina's fate. You must get as much rest as possible. Even though, like me, I'm sure you will find it hard to sleep. But please, for me, do try. Alright. One final task. You mentioned one final task a moment ago. What did you mean? Oh my, I nearly forgot. Please, I want you to have this. What is that? Some huge bundle of documents? It's my notes from the case 2 months ago. The murder that was committed on the omnibus. From the Gilded case, it seems to me that this case of Mr. Windibank's murder, of which Gina is accused, is very much tied up with that omnibus case, in ways that are not yet completely apparent. So I took the liberty of consolidating my writings about the case for you. With everything else she's had to think about, Susato-san still managed to do this, and all neatly laid out for me in her beautiful handwriting. It was my pleasure, so I can only hope that it will bolster your case for tomorrow for Gina. Thank you so much, Susato-san. I'll do my best to use it wisely. You really are the best judicial assistant in the world. Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry to say that I've been a complete failure. Sorry? I didn't quite catch what you said there. Oh, ignore me. I was just mumbling to myself. The McGilded case notes have been entered in the court record. Oh, ominous. How ominous. Well, it's getting rather late. I think you should go to bed now, Naruhodo-san. I must finish packing up my things in my room. Susato-san, I wish you the very best of luck tomorrow. Good night. Wait, there's something I need to say. Hiya! Oh, come on. What? What was that? A secret technique of mine. The Susato shutdown. Shutdown? Please, I implore you. If we have to voice our goodbyes, I won't be able to hold back my tears. Susato-san. It truly had been a trying day. On our feet for hours, getting Gina to open up to us, and learning the truth about that nemesis of the case. Physically and mentally, I was exhausted, and yet the idea of sleep seemed impossible. But I forced myself to close my eyes, and as a cacophony of scenes of our lives here at 11 played through my mind, eventually, my fatigue triumphed, and I fell into a deep sleep. "17th April, the small hours, St. Sinner's Hospital, Ward 3. Oh, dear. Yes, I quite understand. That is a great weight off of my mind. Wait, what is this? Oh! Rest assured, we should put everything in place, exactly as we've discussed. Thank you so much. It has been an honor and a pleasure to be acquainted with you, Mr. Sholmes. On the contrary, the pleasure has been mine. I bid you farewell, and Godspeed. Is it Susato? It is, my dear madam. Ho 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 ho. To be continued. Yes. Save time. Okay. Trial, part 1. Alright. Well, this loads. I'm going to take a quick moment, and I will be right back. Alright. And I am back. When I awoke the following morning, Susato-san was already gone. Outside the window, the rain came down in sheets, and so began an even longer day than the last. One that I would remember for the rest of my days. 17th April, 9:32 a.m., the Old Bailey. Defendant's Antechamber. Good morning, Gina. I'm determined to prove your innocence today. I'm sure we can do it. So where's your friend then? Sorry? You know, having the fancy dress. Susato, or whatever you say it. I don't know. Miss Sato had to leave early this morning. She was already gone by the time I woke up. Okay, odds of her not actually getting on that boat. What do we think? You alright with that, are you? Forget about me if you like. Go and see her off. It's fine. It's not as though Mr. Sato and I won't meet again. One day. Even so. But you, Gina, you only get one chance. This trial today is all we have. Good morning, you two. Who's it? Oh. How are you feeling, Ginny? Did you manage to sleep? It's Wagahai. Iris, what are you doing here? What do you mean? When a friend is in need, we show our support. Isn't that right, Waggy? Waggy! Great way to show your support, kitty. Let him have a nose around. What I'm gonna do? Oh, that reminds me. I bought a paper on the way here. Now, would you like the good news or the bad news? What do you say, Runo? Ginny? Oh, well, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first. Nah, always take the good news first. You might not live to hear the bad. Yes, that question always gives away people's personalities. Let's not go there. Alright then, I'll give you the bad news first. A record amount of rain has fallen this morning, and carriages all over the capital are struggling to move. Huh? The bad news was a weather report? So I hope that Susie made her train to Dover, and that the train isn't delayed on its way to the port. Gosh, yes. Alright then, so what's the good news? Well, the rain is forecast to subside this afternoon. Even if the train is delayed, it should be able to make up the time later. Well, that is good news, isn't it? I couldn't give them monkeys, really. If only all good news canceled out the bad. Yeah. And look, this trial has made the headlines too. Pawnbroker perishes in prick purse plunder, see? How do you like that? Let them say what they want, see if I care. I can't, because you're covering your face. Don't worry, Runo will soon show everyone that this headline is nonsense. I will? And then, in tomorrow's paper, the headlines will be... Discharged diver is Dauntless Do-Gooder. Isn't that right, Runo? Oh, yes. Let's hope so. You have, Mr. Natsume's, gift for alliteration. Of course they will. I have absolute faith in you. How was that? I was trying to sound like Susie. Did it work? Did it? It's like she was still here. Today's paper. Okay. Why do I have today's paper in the court record? Good luck then, Runo. I'll do what I can. Is there anything worth looking at here in the paper? Can I see? I want to see. Obviously, I don't know the law like Susie does, but still. Oh, you're my assistant today, are you? I'll be by your side the whole time, giving you moral support and encouragement. I'm not sure that big thing is as comforting as you think it is, to be honest. But, thank you, Iris. That's very kind of you. Oh yeah, Iris? Yes, Ginny? Well, I was wondering, these old Sholmes, did they fix him up alright? Yes, the operation was a great success. But Hurley still hasn't come around yet. But he has. Aye? I've asked a friend of mine at Scotland Yard to send a telegram as soon as he wakes up. I'm sure Gregson will let us know the moment there's news. Oh, right. No Sasato-san and no Mr. Sholmes. It's all down to me today, to prove that Gina is innocent of this crime. Oh, I think Sholmes is going to show up in a big way at some point here. Can I look at this? Alright. Anything important on the other side? There's a sensational story lower down the front page as well, look. Ministry mole? Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice. For a 10-year-old, Iris certainly has her finger on the pulse of world news. It's about secret communications between Great Britain and its allies. Apparently, they're being intercepted by hostile nations. Communications are being intercepted? But how would someone be doing that? That's the question, isn't it? I've come up with 3 different possible methods so far. Are you looking for a new career, Renault? No, of course not. I wonder, perhaps this is what Lord Strongheart was talking about yesterday. Yes, it could be, and it could explain why he has Gregsy running from pillar to post at the moment. Aha! I thought something... Okay. So, that is why the paper is important. What's the top say? Pawnbroker perishes in purse plunder. How awful! Virginia, I mean. But tomorrow's headline will be Discharge Diver as Dauntless Do-Gooder, right? Yes, something like that. If possible, I'd like to go even bigger. Bigger? How? Proud pickpocket protects planet post-trial, perhaps. Protects planet? Oh, I can't wait for tomorrow now. It's gonna be so great. Okay. Alright. Miss Gina Lestrade, Counsel for the Defense. The trial is about to begin. Please make your way into the courtroom. It's time then. Yes, let's go, Gina. Iris. Lead the way, Bruno. Poor Gina. She's trying to put on a brave face, but I can tell she's worried and scared. I have to believe in her from start to finish. That's the weapon that will secure our victory here. Yep. If I learned anything from my great friend, it's that. 17th of April, 10 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Here we go.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. This trial shall determine the guilt or innocence of Miss Gina Lestrade. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready.
Lord Van Zykes,
My lord.
remind me, how many years ago was it that you withdrew from the public prosecution service?
It was some 5 years ago, my lord.
Yes, and then 2 months ago, you resurfaced somewhat unexpectedly. And here you are again today. Are there some circumstances in which the court should be aware that have led to this erratic behavior? In what one might describe as your former life 5 years past, you dealt exclusively in matters concerned with the highest echelons of society and government.
Really?
But today, you chose to try a simple case of burglary and murder. I confess I find it more than a little befuddling, counsel.
There are 2 types of person you cannot abide. Firstly, those wealthy scoundrels who hide behind the mask of philanthropy that cheat the public at large. He means Mr. McGilded, who you defended against the Reaper 2 months ago. Yes, I just about managed to work that out, thank you. Magnus McGilded, if I'd known what a monster he was, I never would have defended him. And secondly, even more loathsome, those wily scoundrels who masquerade as allies, only to effect total betrayal in the final hour. In other words, the confidence tricksters from those tiny islands in the Far East, the Nipponese. What? Did he really just say that? He means you now, Bruno. I actually managed to work that out too, thank you, Iris. Total betrayal? What are you talking about? A torrid look of hatred in Lord Van Sykes' eyes. Was that directed solely at me? Or was he talking about all Japanese people? Wow.
An alarmingly scathing explanation, Lord Van Zykes. Still, the judiciary welcomes the return of the so-called Reaper of the Bailey, feared by all of London's malefactors.
Your lordship is too kind.
Now, jurors, the 6 of you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people in this trial.
I hope it's more random than it was last time. Wait a minute. I recognize quite a few faces here.
Are you ready to hear the evidence placed before you and determine the guilt or innocence of the defendant? Former lieutenant in the British Army here, don't you know? Chaps like me were born ready.
Clean crockery, clean cutlery, and a clean conscience. His lordship's motto is very appropriate here, I think. Everything will be stereoscopic in the future. Absolutely everything. Absolutely. And I'm ready for it. I don't understand it. You can't have left it in there. It's not possible. Could I have? Women indispensable in society. Stop. Female subject future waits. Stop. That's...
Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please.
It's the... It's the Russian terrorist in the boat case. Oh, nice. Is something wrong, Runo? Oh, not exactly. It's just... I'm fairly sure I recognize these jurors. Almost all of them, in fact. Really? Funny coincidences like that do happen from time to time, don't they? But it is quite strange. The jurors are chosen at random from London's 6 million inhabitants, you know? So I've been led to believe. But something tells me I'm being duped.
Very well. Now, Lord Van Zykes. The court calls upon the prosecution to introduce the facts of the case.
As you wish, my lord. Let me begin with a word of warning to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. In short, there has never been a more self-evident case of cold-blooded murder. Yes, the stereoscopic evidence will be held. That is it. The victim, Mr. Pop Winterbank, proprietor of a pawn shop on Baker Street, was shot from behind and died instantly. The prosecution presents this photographic print of the crime scene. As the court will observe, there is a single bullet wound just below the gentleman's left shoulder. The evidence suggests that the bullet pierced the man's heart, resulting in instant death. Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner. His report states that the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. And what's that supposed to tell us? It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Someone like the accused, you might say. Oh! This prosecution wishes to present the autopsy report and crime scene photograph as evidence, my lord.
Indeed, the court accepts. Hand them to the bailiff, please.
The autopsy report has been entered in the court record. Nice. The crime scene photograph has been entered in the court record. I now ask the court to turn its attention to this plan of the establishment where the incident occurred. The proprietor was found in the storeroom where he kept articles pawned to him. A windowless room with a single point of entry. The door to the main shop was found locked. In this sealed chamber, there were only 2 persons present. The victim, Mr. Winterbank, and the accused. It may further interest the court to know that when the accused was discovered at the scene, she had in her hand the gun used to fire the fatal bullet. Well, that's that then, isn't it? Nothing more to say. Isn't that grubby little girl a pickpocket anyway? She's one of those filthy drabs that live in the slums in the East End. Oh well, it was only a matter of time before she got blood on her hands then. What are the jurors waiting for? The juror's guilty. We can't jump to conclusions here. We mustn't assume her guilt because of what she has to do to survive. Oh. My learned Nipponi's friend, it is you who mustn't jump to conclusions. The prosecution has barely begun presenting its case. Conveniently, this appalling act of murder did not go unobserved. Several witnesses.
Good gracious!
After their testimony, this girl's true nature would be exposed. Pitiful pig-purse. Our cold-hearted killer. Here's to establishing the truth.
The court will take the floor plan and firearm into evidence. Hand them to the bailiff, please, Lord Van Zykes.
Advance, my lord. Crime scene floor plan has been entered into the court record. Windibank's revolver has been entered into the court record. This isn't good. I feel like the mood in here has turned very gloomy all of a sudden, Bruno. I think that's because it has. Oh my, we're throwing the cape off immediately.
Let us begin.
Bring forth as witnesses to the foul murder. Those are the criminals who broke in, weren't they? Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court.
Name's Nash Skulkin. Occupation is, buddy. Professional buddy.
Name's Ringo Skulkin. Occupation's same as him.
Tobias Gregson, Scotland Yard Inspector.
That's right.
We're what they call
the three Scovin brothers.
What you look at me like that for? Don't lump me in with you lot. Cool, blimey, that's cold. Don't you know what we're going through?
It's our older brother. Lost contact with him we have. So we're scouring every shady corner of the capital.
And then last night we come across you. The very spit of the bloke, ain't that right, Ringo?
Aye, is Nash, aye, is the very spit of him.
So we decided there and then what we was going to do. We was going to call you.
What the heck?
Big bruv Skulky.
Or Sulky.
Come on, leave it out, you two.
Sulky Skulkin? And that's before he's run out of chips.
Well then, Inspector Sulky Gregson. Begging your pardon, my lord, but the name's Tobias. What I would like to know, Inspector, is what you are doing in the witness stand.
The Skulkin brothers are currently under arrest, my lord, on suspicion of theft.
Thieves, are they, these three? No, my lord, begging your pardon, but please don't lump me in with his lot.
2 nights ago, these two brothers illegally entered an establishment with intent to burgle. And in the course of their nefarious activities, they became embroiled in the far more sinister crime.
By Jove, you mean to say? What an extraordinary coincidence.
Indeed, my lord. While attempting to burglarize the pawnbrokery, witnessed its proprietor's murder.
Order! Order!
The various trespasses of these brothers is not the subject of today's proceedings, so they will naturally face trial in the very near future.
With your lordship's permission, I'd like to remain in the stand to keep these gents on the straight and narrow. Of course, Inspector. Skeptical as I am about the caliber of these witnesses, I shall permit them to take the stand.
Mr. and Mr. Skulkin will not testify before the court. Describe the events of the night in question and what exactly you saw.
Happy to. 'Cause a skulkin's never skulkin'. Get out of it.
Witness testimony. ×3. Illegal entry.
We was walking down Baker Street in the small hours and the gaff door was ajar, see?
It was like some kind of sign begging for us to go in, it was.
Once we got inside, call blimey lummy, we heard a gunshot from the back room.
We went to see what was what, but the door was locked from the inside.
We never done nothing, Governor. We never took nothing, we just left after that, nice and quiet. A terrible coincidence, it would seem. At the precise moment, these miscreants entered the property, an even more sinister crime was afoot.
The witness's testimony is consistent with the crime scene in every detail. Is it, though? The door providing access to the storeroom from the main shop was indeed locked from the inside. In within, only the victim and the accused was found.
I must say, it does appear to be an overwhelmingly simple case. Still, the defense may cross-examine the witnesses now, of course, counsel, if you please. Counsel?
Yes. What's the matter, Bruno? Sorry, I was just stunned into silence for a minute by the blatant lies being told by that pair in the stand. I know that it's all nonsense because I saw it with my own eyes. I'll just have to expose their testimony for the pack of lies it is. Yeah, there's quite a few things being left out here. Alright. Let's just press everything. The front door of Windibank's was ajar, you say? What time of night was this?
Must have been about 1, right, Ringo?
Yeah, I'd say so. Right, Sulky?
How would I know? The place would have been shut at 1 in the morning, just like every other shop in town.
Well, it was pitch black inside, it's true. Ain't that right, Ringo? I'm not so sure, Nash. I seem to remember a little light burning inside. What about you, Sulky, me old mucker?
Leave me alone.
There definitely was a small lamp burning inside. That's what alerted us to the situation in the first place. One of these gentlemen ventured into the open establishment. The accused, machine of the start, already had the muzzle of her gun turned on the unfortunate victim.
Objection!
That is pure conjecture. Huh, perhaps. But it changes nothing. These brothers inadvertently wandered into the middle of a cold-blooded murder, simply because they found the door of the victim's establishment open and ventured inside.
Right, that's what happened.
It was like some kind. Oh, yeah.
Hold it!
Let's press this. What are you trying to suggest? That you had to go in?
Oh, God moves in mysterious ways, they say, don't they, Ringo?
They do, Nash, they do. Must have been some sort of providence, I reckon. God's will often presents itself as the whim of thieves, does it?
It weren't no whim, I'm dead sure of that.
It weren't, Nash, it weren't. We said at the time.
You just don't find doors open in the middle of the night like that. Nah, there's no two ways about it.
It was a sign that our long-lost brother was inside. They're not very good liars, are they? Well, you can't deny it. Led us to a bloke what looks just like our bruv.
I said, cut it out.
Those chips are getting a chomping today. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. This game has given me a run for my money with all these characters, though. Alright.
Hold it!
A gunshot, you say? Just the one? Are you sure about that?
Yep, just the one, Governor. I can swear to that.
It was, Nash, it was. Ain't that right, bruv?
The firearm used belonged to the victim himself.
Yes, Mr. Windibank always used to leave his gun lying around on the counter. Right, I remember.
When we examined it, we found the revolver was completely out of rounds.
That makes sense. Mr. Windibank always used to say he only ever kept a single bullet loaded. That's true. I remember him saying that as well.
So we can say with considerable certainty that only a single round was discharged from the firearm used as the murder weapon. Yes, my lord, we can.
And I should remind the court that the firearm in question was discovered in the hand of the accused. Wonderful.
Hold it!
Hold it. Do you mean the door between the main shop and the storeroom? If my learned friend is having difficulty grasping the situation, perhaps a drawing would help. Excluding the shop's entrance from the street, there is only one other door. That of the storeroom. Of course, there was only a little lamp burning, not much to see by. And the door was hidden behind a curtain and all. That's right. When we arrived, the door was mostly obscured by the curtain. Tell me, why exactly did you try to open that door? Eh? Any normal petty thief would run at the sound of a gunshot, I should think. Oh, well, your turn to rabbit, Ringo. Well, Nash, yeah. I suppose you'd have to say we ain't normal, eh? Broadly speaking, humans respond in one of two ways on hearing a gunshot or scream. The timid flee, gripped by fear, whilst the courageous investigate to see if they might help. The gentlemen are of the latter inclination. My little deputy's friend, it would seem, is of the former. Alright, somehow I just proved that I was a coward that night.
Thank you, counsels. So I believe we all understand that the door was locked and could not be opened. Proceed, witnesses.
So that's nice and quiet.
Hold it!
You didn't do or take anything? Is that your story?
It was bedlam soon as wanted.
It wasn't Ash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me dukes out of me Lucy lockets. So with no time to take your hands out of your pockets, you just left, nice and quiet, you say.
That's right, Governor. Nothing we ain't more than violence.
Peace-loving nibblers we are, not bludgers. We are, Nash, we are. Never even pulled me dukes out me Lucy lockets. So, you'd clearly like us to believe. Come again. As you fled from the pawnbrokers that night, did you not run into anyone else? And did you not fire a gun at that person?
Sakes alive. They fired a gun, you say?
Humans. But vampires don't care about gunshots. Yes.
Blimey, Governor.
You ain't telling us it was you in the doorway? It was. Why the bleeding Nora? Didn't you mention that before? You were armed with a gun, and as you fled the scene, you fired that gun at London's greatest detective, Herlock Sholmes. They shot the great Mr. Sholmes? I did hear that, actually. There was a rumor he'd been rushed to hospital. The great Sholmes? That's beyond the pale.
On the night in question, this pair were arrested by the police within minutes of the discovery of the crime scene.
The suspicions countenance rapidly gave them away. And when searched, the firearm was indeed found in their possession. Furthermore, the barrel shows signs of a shot having been fired from it. The prosecution invites his lordship to examine the firearm recovered from these brothers.
Yes, indeed. Remnants of powder around the muzzle, as you say, counsel. The court will hold this weapon as evidence.
Skulkin Brothers' gun has been entered in the court record. There are signs that a single round was fired. Okay, so we have the Skulkin gun, single round fired, and we have Windibank's gun, single round fired. But Windibank's gun only has one round in it, right? However, the rest of us in this courtroom would not. If the defense fails to provide evidence in support of its rash claim, we shall have no choice but to toast your incompetence and move on. Evidence that these two fired that gun before they left Windibank's that night. The gunshot in the calendar, right?
The court demands that all claims are affirmed with clear proof. What evidence shows that these witnesses unloaded a firearm in the pawnbroker's shop that night?
This, right? Right? That's gotta be it, right? I mean, can I confirm something real quick with Windibank's gun? This is Mr. Windibank's gun. The cylinder is completely empty. Mr. Windibank always used to keep this gun and on his shop counter. Yes, but only ever with a single bullet loaded, I understand. That's right, to keep all the pawned articles that were in his care safe. Because one bullet was fired that night, and the poor man lost his life. Was he protecting his shop, I wonder? And to keep the articles safe? Alright, so it really was one bullet. And then here's the Skulkin Brothers gun. What about this? So there's ammunition still loaded in 5 of this revolver's 6 cylinders. Yes, which tell us that only a single shot has been fired from it. Exactly. The bullet that hit Hurley, in fact, isn't it? Yes, it happened almost as soon as we walked in through Windibank's store. I'll make those brothers pay. Yep, yeah, I think it has to be, yeah. Alright.
Take that!
Is this it? The evidence is in this portfolio.
What on earth have you there, Counsel?
During the course of our investigation, we discovered a number of bloodstains. Not trusting the police to do the job they're trained to do? How arrogantly Nipponese of you. Well, anyway, we analyzed all the blood samples we found and recorded the results in this portfolio.
You claim to have the evidence the court is demanding therein?
Yes, my lord.
No more dallying then, Counsel. Present the pertinent evidence at once. What do you have in your portfolio that proves these witnesses unloaded a firearm at the scene?
Take that!
This one here.
What is that? Explain.
It's a photographic print taken at Windibank's pawnbrokery on the day of the incident.
From the scene of the crime, is it? Is that a bullet hole? If my eyes do not deceive me, it appears the bullet is still lodged there.
Yes, as your lordship noticed, the bullet pierced Mr. Windibank's calendar. The date shown being the 16th of April, the very day of the pawnbroker's death.
The incident occurred at 1 hour after midnight, but this indicates that a separate shot had been fired sometimes after the calendar had been set to the 16th.
That's right. And while it isn't irrefutable, the defense believes this is credible evidence that the witness did fire a round from their gun in the pawnbrokers that night.
Order! How does the prosecution stand, Lord Van Dykes?
So the green blood is Sholmes's? If that is the direction my learned friend wishes to take, the prosecution has no objection. What?
Oh. But you'll forgive me for flinging my hollow chalice aside in disgust at the repugnancy it exposes.
Yes. On the night in question, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery illegally. And like the bold baddies they claimed to be, opened fire on the new arrivals before fleeing back onto the street.
Eh? Take it easy there, Governor. You're gonna land us in the soup.
We had a deal! You weren't gonna get into them details! Tell him, Sulky. Set the bloke straight.
I have nothing to add.
So he knew, did he? Van Zykes knew their testimony would almost certainly expose the extent of their crimes. It would seem now, as if I owe my learned Nipponese friend a word of gratitude. What do you mean? What I mean is that you have helpfully confirmed an important fact.
What fact do you refer, Lord Van Zykes?
As has been established, at the point of their arrest, a single shot had been fired from the brother's gun. However, that shot found its target in Mr. Sholmes. And clearly, these witnesses cannot be accused of the fatal shooting of the proprietor and victim. In other words, these two men have no material connection to the murder of Mr. Windibank at all. So that's it. That's it. We didn't have nothing to do with it. We didn't, Nash. We didn't. That's what I reckon. Your crimes include unlawful entry, intent to steal, perjury, and, let us not forget, attempted murder.
What a catalogue, eh, fellas?
We're in for it now, bruv. Now then, Let us take a moment to consider the aforementioned great detective, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. It would seem the man patronized the pawnbrokers and questioned somewhat regularly. Where is he going with this? Mr. Sholmes? Yes. Sulky. Yes. It's great. Mr. Sholmes appears to take pleasure in tinkering with eccentric machinery. Eccentric? Says who? Not me. Don't give me that look. He installed a pair of machines like this one in the victim's shop. Oh, that's one of Hurley's red-handed recorders.
What is that, Counsel? It has the appearance of a photographic contraption.
As your lordship has surmised, it is indeed a camera attached to a small timing device. Every half an hour, it automatically photographs the interior of the establishment. The idea being that if the thief were to break into the shop, he would be caught red-handed. The prosecution has obtained the photographs taken by the device on the night in question. As the court will observe, copious identical prints are produced in quite a desultory fashion.
Rather prodigal, I feel.
In fact, there are 2 such devices in the victim's shop, my lord. If I may refer the court to the plan of the premises, their respective positions are here and here.
You say these cameras produce a print every half hour. I'm afraid I fail to see.
Now that would help if the anticipated thief conducted his activities in one of the many 30-minute intervals. One can lay prey that the would-be criminal lingers, my lord. On the night in question, the witness is currently in the stand with my car on camera. Hey, that's a bit of Friar Tucker, eh, bro? Any luck? Loves a skulking.
Witnesses, at what time did your trespassing begin?
Must have been just after 1. Right, bruv? Must have been, Nash. Must have been. Yeah, just gone 1. In which case, minutes before as his brothers entered the establishment, what scene might we expect to see within the shop? Let us examine the evidence.
Good lord! It's the defendant! Miss Gina Lestrade.
Oh, that's not good. That's a rough one. That's like a picture you don't want to see. As the court clearly can see, the accused is pictured gun in hand, facing the victim over the shop counter, without coercing the proprietor to open the door to his storeroom.
Quite. One can only too easily imagine the events that unfolded. The court will take this photographic print as evidence, if you please, counsel.
Yikes. The photograph of Gina has been entered into the court record. I don't believe it. Ginny. In short, the accused is the only person who could possibly have killed Mr. Vinderbank. That's not good. Yeah, that is his. Yeah, that is his own pistol. I say, my lord.
What if I might put in a word at this point? Go ahead, Mr. Foreman. Took a bally bullet to the knee in the Battle of My Wand in 1080, don't you know? Decorated for it and all that, but forced to retire from service, sadly. Of course, a medal can never outshine the exploits of chaps like us on the battlefield. Yes, Mr. Foreman, and what exactly is your point? I carried on the battle after retirement, you see? The battle of daily life, if you like. And here I am now leading this small squadron. 6 men, all good and true. And now we'll all go down together. You mark my words. One for all and all for one.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached agreements, have they? Is that what we are to understand?
Well, Mr. Foreman, is that correct? In a manner of speaking, yes. This is the Garadeb squadron's position, sir.
But no! It's too soon to make a judgment here.
Status report for the court, men. On the double.
His lordship insists on promptitude at all times. That goes to making decisions too. I think you'll find the truth is as clear as day now. I could reach out and touch it. I wouldn't have left it in there. I just wouldn't. But in all honesty, I can't actually remember. Situation clear. Stop. No room for doubt. Stop. Truth now undeniable. Stop.
I am very sorry for brothers. They are unlucky. Very well. I'll call upon each member of the jury to state his or her leaning in this matter, and I shall consider verdicts to the court.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Yikes. Well. Judicial review time.
It does indeed appear that the jury is unanimous in its leaning already.
The photograph. It must be the definitive evidence that Greggs had mentioned. But Ginny didn't shoot him. No, of course not. My lord, the defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination.
Very well. The court grants permission.
So, you refuse to admit defeat again. How unsurprising.
We shall proceed immediately with the summation examination. Miss Foreman, are all members of the jury ready? Absolutely, sir.
Always ready for action, my chaps.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you've determined the defendant to be guilty.
Here we go. Judicial findings. Alright, Garadeb. What's on your mind?
Well, the evidence clearly points the finger of guilt at this young pickpocketeer.
As housemaid, I should like to see all filthy eyesores promptly and vigorously eliminated. Are you like a serial killer or something? I think you'll find that if you look at that photograph in stereo, the truth will just pop out. I have left it in there. I should think there will be repercussions by now. Mind made up. Stop. Roll radio transmission, a verdict to follow. Stop.
In motherland we say never judge by clothes, judge by head. I am convinced brothers are innocent.
Yes, we have indeed squashed the Reaper twice now, so I think we're doing okay.
Circumstances of the crime and the evidence do indeed implicate the defendant rather comprehensively. The storeroom, launched from the inside, in which the victim and the accused were discovered alone, and in the accused's hand, the fatal revolver, the firing of which was heard by these witnesses. Not to mention was print. Taken from a chap who's seen action on the battlefield. The young girl's on the verge of pulling the ballet trigger.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Sholmes. Oh dear, these cameras were supposed to help, not hinder.
I'm afraid I think you have an uphill struggle ahead of you.
But Gina didn't shoot Mr. Winterbank. Which means there's more to this situation that we've yet to see.
Agreed. You have the floor, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination.
Alright. Jury examinations. The defense's rebuttal. Alright. Well, I think we're gonna have to press some statements here. Let's talk to Mr. Garadeb first.
Hold it!
You're Mr. Natsume's landlord, Mr. Garadeb, aren't you? You really must stop meeting like this.
Ah, you're that lawyer chap. Well, there's a turn-up for the books. Yes, rather a turbulent time we had back then.
Some extraordinary events took place at your house, that's for sure. Luckily, Mr. Sholmes and I were able to get to the bottom of it all. I think we did rather a lot for you, didn't we? I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be suggesting that therefore you should change your leaning to not guilty or anything.
Can't be denied, I suppose. Curse of the Garadeb house was the talk of the town after that business. Lodgers moved out, and I couldn't get a bally soul to take up the tendencies.
Oh.
I haven't had the heart to break the news to Joni yet. Bad enough that the old girl's clapped up. Yes, can't be denied. You did do rather a lot.
But not for Anch, that's for dashed certain. I suppose not. Of course. There can be no suggestion of that being the reason I'm leaning towards guilty here, obviously. Obviously, but honestly, I really wish he'd pay more attention to the trial and less to juror number 2. Let's talk to you.
Hold it!
Polishing the bench, I see. Again. The maid's work is never done, but a blemish must remain. What exactly do you mean by filthy eyesores? On my way to market for his lordship, I have to pass through the East End. The place is full of beggars, pick-pursers, and crossmen, the scum of the earth. A little harsh, perhaps. Be plain. If it were up to me, all those back slums would be made spick and span or eradicated. At least we have people like the great detective working to achieve these important goals. You're referring to Mr. Herlock Sholmes? That's right. I like to keep abreast of his exploits by reading Grant's magazine in between my duties. He does wonders, cleaning up London streets. In my opinion, he should be declared an honorary maid of the capital. Mr. Sholmes? A maid? It's really quite unforgivable. Got a scum having the audacity to shoot our very greatest detective. Minor detail, it was the 2 brothers at the stand who shot Mr. Sholmes, not the defendant. Minor detail indeed. They're all gutter scum, as far as I'm concerned. Well, it just might be an idea to get our facts straight anyway. Yes, lols indeed. Yes, alright, I shall amend my statement. Thank you for something. Those brothers are the scum of the earth. They should swing for shooting the great detective. Nice. Thank you for at least, like, being slightly accurate. Alright.
Hold it!
What do you mean, look at the photograph in stereo? Sorry? What? Don't you know? If you look at the photograph print normally, it looks as though the pickpocket killer is about to shoot the victim, obviously.
Objection!
But there's no indication the defendant ever fired the gun. All I'm saying is that if you look at the same print in stereo, it could reveal all sorts of new information. By any chance, are you a fan of stereoscopes? Oh, how did you know? Let's call it a lucky guess. Never gets old, seeing the 2 prints merge into one before your eyes. It's extraordinary. It's captivating. It's the height of modernity. Of course. Oh yes, I think you'll find that the stereoscope is here to stay, giving us new perspectives we could only dream of before. It's the greatest invention the world has ever seen. If only it could give me a new perspective on this case, I might agree with you. What do you want to bet he actually has something there, right? Alright.
Hold it!
Yeah, what are you talking about? What exactly have you been muttering about all this time, sir? You keep talking about having left something somewhere or something like that. So sorry. As you can probably tell, I'm a surgeon. A surgeon? That totally passed me by. Of course, people conducting surgery in this country aren't considered to be doctors. Oh no. Even though me and my kind are at the forefront of medical science, the real brains in the field. So, what is it that you think you've left behind? Well, that's a little embarrassing, to be honest. You see, I was operating on someone yesterday. Standard thing, went in through the abdomen. But when I'd finished the procedure, I couldn't find my scalpel anywhere. What? Did he? Surely not. Exactly. Surely not, you say to yourself, don't you? Worrying, isn't it? Did you operate on Sholmes? Did you operate on Sholmes? Could I really have left my scalpel inside the fellow's belly? No, of course I couldn't. He operated on Sholmes, didn't he? Like I said, a little embarrassing. That's one way of putting it. The other is manslaughter. That's exactly my concern. And seeing as this case appears to be all but sewn up, I need to focus on trying to remember exactly what I've sewn up elsewhere. Now, I'm sure I made sure everything was back as it should be. Well, as sure as you can be without being sure. I'm sure you need to be more sure. Let's talk about you.
Hold it!
Sorry, radio transmission? What do you mean? Are you from the Far East? Stop. Yes, from the Empire of Japan. All communication with Far Eastern nations used to take place by mail. Rail mail steamers take more than a month to complete the journey. Ah, but now we have the electric telegrams. We can send messages using electrical signals. Thousands of miles of cables have been laid along the ocean beds, connecting the entire world. Thousands of miles of cable on the ocean bed? Makes my head hurt just thinking about it. You're well informed, young lady. Hehe. Cables will soon become a thing of the past. Stop. And just when I was starting to catch up. Radio transmission is the future. Stop messages carried over airways to four corners of globe. Stop. Excitement growing. Stop. Atmosphere electric. Stop. Right. Try not to wear out your fingers. Era of wireless telegraphy. Stop. Driving technological revolution. Stop. And people say inventions like the stereoscope at the height of technology. What a piffle. I can't understand it. I really can't. They're just silly toys. Oh.
Excuse me.
Juror number 3. Sorry to interrupt when you're obviously fuming, but... What? Do you perhaps have something to say about juror number 5's last remark? As if I couldn't guess. Oh, you bet I do. Say that again. Go on. I dare you. Goodness, are you talking to me? I think he just might be, yes. You think stereoscopes are just toys, do you, huh? Absolutely. I mean, really. A machine to view photographs in 3 dimensions? On Earth, would you not just use your eyes to look all around the world? It's all 3-dimensional. What a great way to appease the man. No, sorry. Stereoscopes are of no practical use at all. Just don't know. Pardon? I think you'll find that viewing a photograph through a stereoscope can unlock all sorts of possibilities. I'm obviously going to leave to have to demonstrate. What sort of possibilities? Well, take a crime scene, for example. If you had a pair of photographs from a crime scene that you could view through a stereoscope, it could reveal hidden clues you'd never even noticed before. Sholmes should go through a metal detector. Yes, I'm a little bit curious about this now. What? Have you got any, Bruno? Any prints we could look at with a stereoscope? Yes. The crime scene, please. How about this print here? It should do the trick, I think.
Take that!
Alright then, juror number 3. Are you saying you can do this with any 2 suitable photographic prints? Of course I can. Very well then, I'd like you to demonstrate. I'd be delighted to. Just give me one more print and I'll amaze you all. Wait. Is that the only one we have? Or what? Wait, we have the photograph of Gina. Do we have another photograph? We have the crime scene photograph. I don't think we have any, actually. Yeah, we don't have... Do we?
Take that!
What about this? Wait, sorry? What do you mean, one more print? Oh dear, oh dear. Don't you have these in the Far East? Don't you know how a stereoscope works? Bruno? What? We don't have another one, do we? You need 2 photographs for a stereoscope, remember? You know, one for the left eye and one for the right. Oh yeah, what is... Yeah, I'll look in the envelope, maybe. Oh yes, I remember now. But the print we have from the pawnbroker is just a normal photograph. No, I think you'll find... The clue is in the name. It's a stereoscope, not a monoscope. Oh, I need 2 prints. Thanks for the friendly explanation. Well, if we obtain another print at some point later in the trial, we can always show it to this young man then. Ha ha ha! I think you'll find that know-it-all expression is really starting to annoy me.
Let's get things back on track, shall we, Kung Fu?
Okay. Here's another shot from a slightly different angle. Okay. Let's talk to you.
Hold it!
Please tell me you're not villain Bolshevik, the Russian revolutionary. Revolutionary?
Da, I believe there is such a rumor.
It's just a rumor?
As you see, I have unfortunate appearance. I like vicious criminal.
Your words, not mine. Just want to point that out.
People call me revolutionary, murderer, autocrat.
And which glove fits?
Good day, I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please.
Right, that didn't sound staged at all. You'll forgive me for having my doubts.
To be treated like vicious criminal all the time, it is very painful. People do not realize. So I have much sympathies for these brothers. People say they are criminals only because of how they look.
The Skulkin brothers?
Duh, maybe they went inside Pumbokery's shop, but they have done nothing wrong. That is all what I want to say.
The Skulkin brothers did nothing wrong that night? Alright, well first of all, that's one not so little misunderstanding I'll need to clear up straight away. Tell me something, Iris. What is it, Runo? The jurors are choosing at random from the inhabitants of London town, aren't they? Yes, it's amazing, isn't it? In that case, how is it that there is a Russian tourist sitting among them who looks all for the world like a revolutionary? I wish I knew. If I can't change the minds of more than half of these 6 jurors, the trial will be over. But we know that Jenny would never shoot anyone. Yes, so we need to find contradictions in what these jurors are saying and put them against each other. Well, she would never shoot anyone with a gun, but she would happily shoot people with a smoke grenade launcher. I must be ready to go whatever lengths I have to convince them of Gina's innocence. Alright. Well, we got an easy one here.
Objection!
These 2 statements clearly contradict each other.
Good lord. Counsel, explain yourself.
Oh my statement? Contradictory?
C-O-N...
Juror number 6, you've got the wrong end of the stick.
I do not have stick, I have mouse.
As juror number 2 said earlier, when the Skulkin brothers fled the scene on the night in question, they fired a shot from their revolver. Yes, they shot poor Mr. Sholmes in the abdomen, I understand. Surely you're not going to tell the court now that you didn't hear.
Abdomen. A-B-D...
Sir?
Sorry, my English is still learning.
You are telling the court you didn't hear?
Forgive me, I did not hear.
Ugh.
Here is what. Abdomen. Part of person's body containing stomach and other vital organs. If this is what you mean, you should say in plain English, I am Russian, not native speaker.
We thought it was a good idea to let this man be on the jury again.
So, you are telling me these brothers who look like criminals were lying? They said before, we never done nothing. The truth is they shot detective. Da, this is double negative.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Lying is wrong, especially when lies said by a person who looked like criminal.
Coming from you, that seems surprisingly prejudiced.
This means, when they said we never took nothing, maybe it was also a big fat lie. Is this true?
Well, according to the police report, no stolen goods were found, so...
Enough. I trust no one now.
It's not the mouse's fault, though, sir.
I must see with my own eyes. I must investigate the crime scene myself.
I'm afraid that won't be Yes, it is, Runo. Easily. Sorry? With the prints from Hurley's red-handed reporter. Ah, if you compare the print that pictures Jenny and the next print from half an hour later, you'll be able to see straight away if anything was taken or not. Cooey, Mr. Prosecutor. Tut, calling on the prosecution in the middle of a summation examination of all times. It's a print showing the accused threatening the victim after she broke the shop. Is this one? Oh, you're going to show us another one.
Following this, the victim and the accused moved into this storeroom.
Meanwhile, the Skulkin brothers entered the shop and summarily heard the fatal gunshot ring out. Sadly, none of these events were captured on film. This is the print produced by the camera half an hour later after the brothers' flight. So this was taken after Hurley was shot then. Well, we have our second picture now, don't we? As far as I can tell, nothing has been taken. It does seem to be the case. I can't notice anything that's obviously missing in the second print. But we now have our second picture, right?
So, the brothers who look like criminals told only one lie. They shot the man, but they stole nothing.
It would seem so, yes.
Good.
No, not good.
You were right. I did not understand the situation. Now I know brothers have lied. I think it is very important to continue with trial.
Well, thanks, Russian revolutionary. Wait, you're definitely not a Russian revolutionary, just a tourist. Yay, well done, Runo. The balance is shifting. Well, it's a start, I suppose. But there must be more in what these jurors are saying that I can use to expose the truth. And if I can do that, we might just turn the situation to our favor still.
Thank you, Counsel. Continue with the summation examination. And kindly hand that new photographic print to the bailiff to be found as evidence.
Yeah, baby. Let's go present that to juror number 3. Another print in the court record. I wonder if we can make use of that. Yes, we sure can. Let's go back to juror number 3. Wait, court record.
Hold it!
Can we... Okay. Can it really show up new clues, though? Don't know unless you try. How about this print here? It should do the trick, I think. So we have the photograph of Gina. Alright then, juror number 3. Are you saying you can do this with any two suitable Oh, we can. Okay, we did this, yeah. Well then, I'd like you to demonstrate. And the post shooting. Alright, these two prints were both taken with the same camera in Windibanks on the night in question. Yes, I see. Tell me, Mr. Lawyer, do you know how stereographic images work? Do you understand the principle? Well, I think so. I did have a lesson only yesterday. The left and right eye images need to be the same, only a slight shift in the positions of some objects. Then, when your brain merges the two images together inside your head, it notices the shift as if it were depth. Right. Yes, exactly. It's that small shift between certain objects in the two pictures that's really important. So what happens if you use two photographs that are exactly the same, then? No, obviously that wouldn't work at all. Not for seeing the scene three-dimensionally, anyway. Oh! Of course, now I see. I think the young girl has discovered the secret. I have. Can you uncross your eyes before you tell me? Have another look at these two pictures from Hurley's camera, Bruno. Go on. Okay. Can you see that there's a really obvious difference between them? I'm not seeing it yet. Of course there is. There are two people in the first and no people in the second. Well, yes, you can see that straight away. But now, try looking at these pictures in 3 dimensions. Alright, I'll give it a go. So to start with, you have to cross your eyes and then try to make the 2 pictures overlap exactly. Yes, the people, yes. Let's see if by crossing my eyes I can make quill pens from each picture overlap in the middle. Wait. Well, did you manage to see it properly, Runo? Did I see something? I don't know. I have a feeling I'm gonna go out on a limb here and guess that Gina's not pointing the gun at Mr. Windibank, and that is gonna reveal something. So I will just pretend we're doing this. What's going on with these 2 pictures? Some of the things on the counter sort of jump out at you. Yes. That's it, you see. That's the other amazing power of stereoscopes. other amazing power.
Someone going to explain this black magic, eh? Why the deuce some of the things on the counter seem to jump out at you like that, huh?
I think you'll find that if you consider the basic principle of the stereoscope, you'll answer your own question.
Basic principles? The stereoscope?
As I said before, if you try to look at two identical pictures using a stereoscope, it won't work at all. It's a slight shift in the positions of certain objects that let you see the pictures three-dimensionally. In other words, even though at first glance it seems the objects on the counter haven't moved at all between the two pictures, this shows that actually there must have been a slight shift in their positions. Yes, that did rule, was Van Sykes looking at it, yes. Yes, there must have been.
Now hold fire there, sir. Got a reasonable grasp of this whole cross-eyed business now, I'd say. Why the devil does this shift between the two prints exist in the first place? Well, what's the answer, fella? Come on, you're the cross-eyed master.
What? Me? I haven't the first idea. You know, Bruno, it's quite simple.
It is?
Just think it through step by step. Okay. The first photograph was taken at 1 a.m. Then, 30 minutes later, the second photograph was taken. But the position of some items on the counter appears to have shifted slightly in the interim. So that means that sometime in the half-hour interval, someone must have tampered with the things on the counter.
Zonkers! Someone tampered?
New information! Stop! Not mentioned in testimony so far. Stop! Yes. We've had to go around in circles a little here, it seems, but I'm starting to see what I should be aiming at in this summation examination now. Ladies and gentlemen, the question now is clear. We know the items of the countertop were moved, but by whom? Well, the lamp is also... yeah. Well, it's gotta be the Skulkins, right?
Are you suggesting you might know?
Of course. I can tell you right now who is responsible for the almost imperceptible shift in the items on the counter. It's gotta be the Skulkins, right? Ringo or Nash?
Take that!
It was the witnesses currently in the stand, the Skulkin brothers.
Wait. This does not agree with what brother said in testimony before. They said they did not have even time to pull dukes from Lucy Lockets. My phrase book says dukes is meaning hands, and Lucy Lockets is meaning pockets. But is this another lie? Is this what you are saying?
Yes, I'm afraid so. Hold on there a minute. You can't be sure of that. I quite agree. The accused is a common pickpurse after all. It's perfectly possible that she went through the things on the desk to see what she might steal. I think that's unlikely.
Why exactly?
As you can see from this photographic print, the defendant was pointing a gun at the victim. It would seem, as my learned friend indicated, that she was coercing Mr. Windibank to open the storeroom door. In other words, Mrs. Strahd's interests lay within the storeroom, not in the main shop, giving her no reason to touch anything on the counter. All of which points to one thing. The Skulkin brothers have omitted key facts in their testimony. But the accused is pickpurse, common gutter trash. Why look any further for the wrongdoer here? Because the Skulkin brothers are thieves, madam, or better, in fact, worse than a pickpurse. I believe that these brothers were looking for something on the victim's counter that night. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you would condemn the defendant on the grounds that she's a pickpocket, would it not be at least right and proper to thoroughly scrutinize testimony given against her by two thieves? Well said. I, for one, would like to hear more from that shady pair. Yes, that mouse is getting a lot of punishment. Can you all see now? I think you'll find stereoscopes aren't playthings. You've seen their extraordinary potential firsthand. I like that his vote has nothing to do with the case. It's just, yeah, I get to talk about stereoscopes more. Wholeheartedly agree. Stop. Let's purchase after trial. Stop. We'll turn home via Regent Street. Stop.
Well, it would seem this trial is yet to run its course. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury have declared their inclinations by the mighty scales of justice. Hereby call this summation examination to conclusion with the balance altered in the defendant's favor. 2 lean to guilty, 4 lean to not guilty. Accordingly, the jury is without consensus. In order this trial to continue.
Yay! Well done. Oh, by the way, what? You should hold on to this, Bruno. You never know when it might come in useful. Twice in one trial would be unusual, surely. But alright. The stereoscope has been entered into the court record. Yes, I'm sure stereoscopes will never get mentioned again, right?
Lord Van Zykes, you will instruct the witnesses that the court demands additional testimony from them.
I'm sure it won't spoil its bouquet to do so, my lord. I've won myself another chance to probe that pair about their activities that night at least, and I won't stop probing them until I've proven that Gina is innocent. Alright. There we go. I think that is a good place to leave off for tonight. So we will pick this back up again next week. Alright. See you then.